I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have. This has obviously been a significant week for Rhodes College. Lots of conversation, discussion, research, study, and hard decision making. I'm very confident that the decision we made is in the best interests of our students and our faculty and staff and our community. But I will say that this was probably the most personally painful decision I've ever had to make as a leader and as a college president, certainly, because it impacts so many of us. And it will be very sad to think that some of the experiences that we were looking forward to this spring will not be able to occur. We made this decision after a lot of thought, reflection, study. We have involved many members of our community in giving us insights and feedback and advice, including student government leaders, including faculty leaders, including members of our extended community with expertise in healthcare. And at the end of the day, we had to sit and say, given what we know today and the best advice we've gotten, what is the right thing to do for our campus? And that was how we came to this decision. I'm happy to take questions.
So the classes will be online?
We're referring to it as remote learning, and we anticipate that faculty will use a variety of pedagogical methods to accomplish the teaching and learning. Some of this may be video conferencing, some of it may be phone calls, email. Our faculty have such strong commitment to effective teaching, and while our standard mode of teaching is primarily face-to-face, I'm confident that they will work individually with our academic affairs leadership team to identify the appropriate methods of instruction for each learning experience.
Does the university currently offer online classes?
We don't offer any online classes, and we're not really thinking of these as online classes. An online class is something where the mode of instruction, there's a whole different set of considerations from a pedagogical standpoint. What we're doing is moving to remote forms of communication.
Pursuit of the curriculum through remote forms.
Yes, on this temporary basis, yes. And we do have some of that. Students sometimes who are abroad maybe engage with faculty here or who have to be away from campus for different times. So we do have some experience with that.
Was there a tipping point at which you made this decision, or was it more complex than just we're here and now we've...
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I would say it was a very complex decision and made over a period of time, but one probably important moment in the decision making was when we sat down to begin scenario planning. What would it look like if we were to have cases of COVID-19 on our campus? And how would we respond, and what kinds of requirements would be placed on Rhodes in terms of segregating students, separating them out, putting students in isolation. And we began to very quickly realize that we are such an intimate, close-knit, primarily residential community that the requirements from a public safety perspective and public health perspective would be more than we felt we could safely manage. And that was a big moment in our decision making and began a kind of process of reflection for us at a deeper level.
Who may do better in an in-person classroom, who may, their learning style?
This is a very good question. We believe at Rhodes that all students do better in face-to-face instruction and with an instructor that knows them and cares about them individually and personally. But we also believe that given that our students have already formed relationships with their professors and our faculty members already have a sense of student learning styles, that we will be able to accommodate student learning needs.
What about graduation? Have you guys thought about that, or when will you make a decision about that kind of event?
About the graduation ceremony, we have not made any decision yet about that. We're going to monitor events. If at all possible, obviously, it would be our dream to bring our students here for commencement. We are committed to making sure that all of our students who are scheduled to graduate do graduate in the sense that they will be able to complete their coursework and meet the requirements for graduation. No student will be in a position where they are not able to do that.
What would be an example of remote learning?
A Zoom class where you have the 7, 8, 10 students who are in the class in a conversation in real time with our faculty. We expect that our instruction will largely be what's called synchronous instruction, where students and faculty are in communication at the same time, in real time. Some online instruction is asynchronous, where the professor may have provided instructional material and the students are accessing it on their own schedule. We may have some of that, so we do now. A faculty member might post a video or a movie or an essay. Students study that on their own, but the conversation and the discussion typically happens in real time, and we believe that we can replicate that. It's not going to be easy, and we're not going to pretend that we think this is ideal. If we did, we would not. I mean, we're committed to face-to-face instruction at Rhodes. On the other hand, given the nature of this crisis and given that we are in the midst of a semester, we are confident that our faculty and students can rise to this occasion.
How many students do you think will request waivers to stay on campus?
I think it's too early to tell. We know that we have many international students who we expect will need to stay on campus, and then we will work with students individually to meet their needs. We're fortunate to be a very individually minded place and to have a staff who cares deeply about the success of each student. So we are able to translate that kind of individual student by student solving of problems. That piece I think we can do fairly easily.
So some students could stay on campus?
Yes, if you read the note that we put out, there's a waiver possibility there. We are not closing campus, so our campus remains open at this time, and obviously we're monitoring that as the situation evolves.
Is there any funding available if you have to close campus and then remove those students? Is there funding to help them get to?
We certainly will work with our students, as we already do, to meet significant financial challenges. We work with each student as issues emerge.
So once you've got the students who live here off of campus and you've got things down to a minimal level, even though there's still some activity here, the contact among people on campus is obviously going to be much less than it is now.
Yes, we will have a much less dense community. We will be able to practice some of the recommended social distancing practices. We'll be giving more information to our community about those recommendations as we move forward.
And how did you all reach this decision? I know that you talked about research and deep discussion. Can you take us through that process?
Sure. Again, we've been monitoring this, as have many of you, for months, and we have made a series of decisions along the way. We've sent out several communications to our various communities. We've had set up a website. We've been moving and preparing ourselves for this. As I said, as the risk factor, as we began hearing from our health experts that the risk of cases on campus was rising, that's when we thought we need to really sit down and look at scenarios and begin that next level. And that really only happened maybe 4 or 5 days ago. So we've been pretty much in contact meeting through then. We didn't want to rush the decision, but we knew we needed to move with all due speed.
Any other questions?
Do you know what we should ask?
Sorry, another
Yes.
question. For those students who may not be financially able to get to a laptop or an iPad, are you guys going to have resources for them?
We will absolutely work with students who, for whatever reason, sometimes it may be financial, sometimes they may have special learning needs or special health needs. We will work with each of our students individually to make sure that every student has the capacity to complete their coursework and to finish the semester. Absolutely.
When making this decision, you noted earlier that there was a tipping point, as Bill asked. Is Rhodes operating under the assumption that community spread is going to happen in Shelby County for the coronavirus?
It's a good question, and I think tipping point is probably, as I said, too strong, although it was a sort of significant moment. We are not public health experts, so we rely on the same information that you receive from public health experts and from our community. What those experts have told us is that they do anticipate that certainly nationally cases will rise, and we were advised by folks that we consulted with that we should act anticipating that were we to continue as normal, there would be cases at Rhodes. Now, whether, these people are not, they don't have magical vision, they're working out of their same basic health knowledge. But I think you really shouldn't take this as any indication on Rhodes's part that we are making a statement about the future, Memphis. We're thinking about our own responsibilities. We do feel a responsibility to the community to do our part to help lower the curve. lower the, spread out the cases that might occur here so that our healthcare system isn't overburdened. We, as good neighbors, feel that responsibility, but we are not in any position to make comments, claims, judgments about public health in Memphis. And there are others, obviously, who are much better equipped to do that.
Did you discuss this with any local politicians here or elected officials or members of
We have
the county?
informed several folks of what we were doing, but we did not seek their advice. We feel they have plenty of decisions they need to make for our community as a whole. And the responsibility is really ours to think about the Rhodes community. Nobody knows how we operate at Rhodes better than we do. And so we have to take the publicly available information, the information we can gather from friends of the college with knowledge and expertise, and then we have to apply that using the best of our judgment. And I'm so proud of our team. This was the people in this room and many, many others besides that who were part of ongoing conversations over the last several months and then very intensively over the last several days. And I have tremendous pride and confidence in the selfless way and the disinterested way and the loving way that this group came together to make very difficult and challenging decisions.
About how many students are currently enrolled?
We have approximately 2,000 students at Rhodes.
You may have answered this already, but the UT system made a similar announcement today.
I just heard.
Did that factor in at all? Were you aware of it?
No, I think, we heard about that, I think, on our way over here. I have been in contact with my presidential peers at other small liberal arts colleges across the country just to compare notes, but all of us recognize that the decision really lays in the hands of each college. Although, as you note, more and more colleges have come to conclusions similar to the ones that Rhodes drew. I really appreciate your being here. I would be remiss if I did not remind you to wash your hands and to continue to think about Rhodes. We really need the support of our community. This will have impact on us financially, emotionally, as a community. And we are very grateful for the support that Memphians give to Rhodes, and we will continue to ask for that support. Please keep us in your thoughts. If you're a praying person, we welcome those prayers. Thank you very much.
When you say financially, is there any cost to the university beyond closing, giving a small refund for ruined gold?
We'll be looking at some of those potential implications, but as you can see, even just among your questions, certain things start to emerge about, well, what about this and what about that? So we will need to do a full analysis, but we're prepared for that. We also recognize, this health crisis will have financial implications for many, many people, possibly for all of us. This has, global economic impact as well. So thank you very much. It's great to have you here. Really appreciate your coming. We know that you stick with us in good times and bad, and we appreciate that as well. So thank you very much.